And the biggest regret in my life, Dave, is I didn't discover carnivore 2 years ago, because I would have saved him.
Allan, how did you find carnivore?
Well, that's your signature question, Dave, and I did prepare an answer. But if it's okay with you, I'd like to answer that a little bit later in the interview for a particular reason. So, yeah, I don't want to bore your be a bore or be a legend in my lunchtime. So I'll just maybe answer one of your other questions, which will probably be something like, where did it all start? And to be very brief, because I've watched a lot of your interviews and they're fantastic, and I don't want to be a bore. So they say the definition of a bore is when you ask somebody how they are and they actually tell you. So my very brief story started many, many years ago, but we'll just fast track it to 2018. And I went into hospital with the inability to walk, swollen ankles, wheelchair in, time in hospital, got the news that I was a type 2 diabetic, swollen legs, absolutely ready for the scrap heap. So I left there, went home, went to bed, and I thought, well, if this is where it all ends, I guess it's all gone, it's all over. And however, I just heard, I was watching YouTube, and I thought to myself, I've got to do a cruise with my wife in 6 weeks. What am I going to do? So then I had this brainstorm and I thought, okay, I'll learn how to play roulette, because I could just sit at the roulette table and I don't have to do anything. And so I'm watching these programs on how to play roulette. And for some unknown reason, the algorithm on YouTube presented me with Dr. Jason Fung from Canada, the nephrologist. And he comes on and he says things like, are you not feeling too well? Do you have type 2 diabetes? And every answer was yes. Yeah, I felt like he was talking to me. And so he discussed fasting. And I remembered that in the past that fasting was something to do with fasting was good. So I started on this program of fasting. And within a few months, I'm hoping my doctors are not listening to this, but I got off all my medications and just threw them away. It was fantastic. So I'm going to refer to some notes here. So if I just look down and put my glasses on, I just need, because everyone's got to make notes in their life, especially at my age. Let's see if you can read the writing, that is. And, yeah. So over the years, I practiced fasting. 2 days, 3 days. I went as far as 5 days once. And I thoroughly recommend it. I was like Superman at the end of 5 days. I had X-ray vision through the walls of this little farmhouse I was at. But the problem lies with the information I'd absorbed in doing that, which was at the end of your fast, in your eating window, you can just have what you like. And I'm going, oh, that sounds good, but it doesn't work. And so therefore I slowly regressed. And then I went to Thailand in 2019, still did fasting, a lot of walking. And at January 2020, this was the clincher. I'm sitting under this pergola at this guest house, and up walks this fairly robust looking guy dragging his bag, sweating profusely. And I said, "G'day, mate." And he said, "Oh, how are you?" I said, "I'm fine, but how are you?" He said, "Oh, I think I've got the flu." And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's bad luck. Got talking to him, he had an American accent. And I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Oh, I'm originally from Texas." I said, "Well, you've come a long way. Gee, to Kanchanaburi in Thailand, that's a fair hike." Oh, he said, "No," he said, I can't actually work in China. January 2020, may I remind you. I said, yeah, what do you do? He said, I'm an international teacher. Oh, I said, do you work in Shanghai? Oh, no, he said, you probably wouldn't know this place. It's called Wuhan. And I went, never heard of it. Yeah, well, he left after a few days and I came down with this incredible flu and I was in bed for 6 days on my own, well, with medications. And I'm convinced that I copped that dreaded COVID. I could have been patient number 2, who knows? So anyway, got over that. It's only the fact that I'd been walking and fasting do I attribute my success at living, frankly. So I come back to Australia and, go into a deep depression because can't travel anymore, and travelling was my life. And so I went downhill. And where did I go from there? Yeah, fast forward to October last year, dabbling with fasting again, eating windows, but not realising that the big culprit's sugar. I gave it up, or I thought I gave it up. But where I started to change my attitude was when I watched a program by my hero, Dr. or Professor Robert Lustig, on sugar. And I watched these same videos every week to remind me, to shadow box, as if I was going into the ring, because I have an absolute hatred for sugar now. And there's a reason for it, which I'll tell you a little bit later into the interview, because I will struggle to get through that part when I explain it to you, but I'll try. So Robert Lustig, my hero, if he's watching this interview or if anybody knows him, please ask him to get in touch with me, because it's on my bucket list to go and meet this man and thank him, because I believe that he was the absolute instrument in my ability to come over to this lifestyle. It was one of the major steps. We could all talk about Dr. Ken Berry. We could talk about, I'm going to refer to my notes here because I don't want to forget, Dr. Binkman, on who talks about many facets of insulin resistance. There's a host of heroes. They really are. I call them the usual suspects. And my nickname for you, by the way, is the Prince of Politeness, because you never interrupt anyone, even when they're dying for you to step in and save them. But anyway, that's where I'm at the moment. And I'd like to talk about inspiring people to stay on this health program. It's a recipe for a good health span. Look, regardless of the kilos that I've lost, of the 3 pants sizes I've come down, of the 2 shirt sizes I'm down, forget about all that. It's the clarity of mind and the ability to understand and comprehend these wonderful YouTube videos that come out. Yours are inspiring. The people, look, I wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning because I found out that that's when the universe wants you to wake up and absorb stuff. And I watched your program this morning with that very nice girl from Poland. And yeah, she was lovely. Hard act to follow. And also last week you had a chap on from Melbourne who was a personal trainer. Now he's a hard act to follow, my goodness. And I thought to myself, I'm going to come on with Dave and I'll probably be as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But eventually, I'll get the message across. So my message is not about what I've done. That's just a story that join the crowd. I'm a follower. It's what I want to do. I don't want to convert the world. I want to do it one duck at a time, because in business, I believe, and I was very successful in my business career, that if you approach your customers like they're in a big duck pond and you sneak up and you take one at a time, look after them, and you don't disturb the rest, they keep breeding. And I remember once in an interview on Good Morning Australia many years ago with Kerry Ann Kennelly, and she said, "Oh, do you have a business plan?" When I first started in business, and being a brash sort of a guy, "Oh yeah, sure I have." "Cool, yeah, cool." A little while later, she said, "Would you like to tell us what it is?" I didn't have a clue. So I looked up to heaven and I said to God, "God, if you can see me now, either send me a sign or strike me dead, one or the other." Here I am on national television live. And then it came to me. And I said to her, "Kerry Ann, it's in the Bible." And she said, "What?" I said, "You'll find my business plan in the Bible. I don't know what page it's on, but I'll quote it for you, chapter and verse." She said, "Well, we're all ears. We want to know." I said, "Well, it clearly states in the Bible, do unto your customer as you would want them to do unto you." And seriously, it worked. And so I say to my carnivore friends, I will do unto you what you want. If you want help, send me an email. The email address is there. And I registered that one specifically because it's catchy. And it's very close to my real name. Because I won't say what my real name is, but in Latin, it means valiant flesh. So, isn't that irony, Dave, after all these years? As if you ever watched The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, my favourite movie of all time, because I believe in a past life I was probably a samurai. I just feel that desire to help people. And he said, before he went into battle, he said, "A man does what he can in life until one day his destiny is revealed." And I think now my destiny is being revealed. Yours is for sure, because what you do is so beneficial. So beneficial. You probably don't realise. You get a lot of bouquets, but you really don't realise that what you do, Dave, is so important to keep the dream alive for carnivore. If something else comes along that's better, I'll probably do it. But I can't see it. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to start tweaking it and trying different things. However, now I'm in 120 days and I feel like I have the right to say something about it. In the early period, I was very quiet, just a quiet achiever. But after 6 months, I'm going to try and encourage people to practice reverse aging. And what I did was I celebrated a birthday on the 8th of December. And I went out and bought myself a birthday card. And the birthday card I bought was of what I was on the 7th of December, which I won't reveal yet. And my youngest son, coming to the birthday party, said, "Dad, you said your brain fog's gone." "Well, I don't know." He said, "Something's wrong." He said, "You've made a miscalculation here." I went, "What? What miscalculation?" He said, "When you add up your years," he said, "you're actually older than that birthday card." And I said, "No, I'm not. That's what I'm staying at for the next 12 months. And next year, I want you to go out and buy me one that says 1 year less. And every year after that, 1 year less. Until I reach about, say, 10 or 12 years. And I'll be realistic, and then I'll just quit then and coast." So that's what I say about reverse aging, but not actually, just the mind. The mind's so powerful. And that's what I've discovered with carnivore. My my neuropathy of the feet, it's gone. My clarity of mind is back. The other reason I got onto it was because I had severe bronchitis, and I think it was 2022. I coughed for 3 months for 24 hours a day. Unbelievable. It's gone. So my gratitude to the universe for sending me carnivore is an undying gratitude. And every day I thank the universe because I believe in it. It wakes me at 3 a.m. to watch you. My goodness, I couldn't believe it. I switch on my TV on YouTube Premium, no ads, and it's a big plug for them. And their algorithm is spot on. And then you come on, and then another one I watched, which was and I want to give this guy a plug at the end of the interview because he only does 9-10 minute interviews, but they're so succinct and he's so good in what he's talking about that you need to look at it. It's just one of those good ones. I don't want to give a plug to anybody else on the internet because you're here, Dave, and this is your show, and I know when to be a, what's the word, disciple of discretion. So I won't say too much. But maybe you want to ask me some questions because I've been ranting there for a while.
Yeah, I do have some questions. First, please feel free to mention that channel. I'm interested with the 9 or 10 minute interviews. What's the channel?
I'll just refer to my notes so I get it right, okay?
Okay.
I'm just going to put my glasses on and I'll just make sure it's at the end page here. I've got pages of notes. And you know what? I'll get off this. I'll come off this interview and I'll say, why didn't I say that? Not really. I don't want to be a legend in my lunchtime. So we'll just see what I said here. What's his name? Yeah, he's called SHAPE, Shape Fixer, FIXER. And seriously, he's so well spoken and he talks a lot of good stuff and worth a look. He's only had not many views, so he's not very well known. And I'm very thankful that the algorithm sent him to me after you. So anyway,
yeah,
I'll wait for your next question.
Thank you. Yeah. So, well, first thing's not a question. First thing's a statement, and I think it's I don't know. It strikes me as very, very Australian that when you realize you had a cruise coming up in 6 weeks and you were dealing with this type 2 diabetes, what am I going to do? How am I going to go get through this cruise? I'll learn how to play roulette so I don't have to move. That seems like such an Australian thing to do.
Self-preservation, Dave. I've been married for 52 years, and really a lucky man, but can't disappoint her.
Yeah. So on the type 2 diabetes, did you, when you were doing the fasting, the intermittent fasting, before you moved towards carnivore, did that put your type 2 into remission at that point?
Absolutely. Because I must admit I did lower the carbs. Something told me try and follow a form of ketogenic, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just floundering like a fish out of water. But I realised that fasting was good, and now I'm convinced that, and having a result of experience fasting. I'll preempt one of your next questions will be, well, how often do you eat? Because I know that's usually one of your signature questions. And the answer is when I feel hungry, like you. I don't feel hungry now. I try to finish evening by 7 p.m. and I don't eat till about 1 or 2. It's a snack, but I'm starting now to boil up 6 eggs every morning and peel them and put them away. And when I feel like a snack, there's nothing better than an egg. It's fantastic. I watched one presenter once, I think it was Dr. Berg, or forget who it was. I don't forget who it was. He did a thing where he ate 100 eggs in a week. And I thought, well, that didn't kill him. And I really believe they're the answer to your snacking cravings. Just grab an egg. So I do that
right.
every day.
I think that was Dr. Ekberg.
Eggberg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eggberg. Oh, no doubt about you. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So, and the rest of and then I eat when I feel hungry, but after about 2 or 3 eggs, stuffing yourself, you fill up pretty quick. And I don't really seek food. But if I have to eat, because I know you've got to keep your metabolism going, I usually eat probably around 6 p.m. and it's some bacon. But lately, I've started to use pork belly, slicing it thin, putting it in the freezer for a half an hour, slicing it thin, and then getting it out, salting it, hitting with the hammer, and putting it in the air fryer. And my goodness, I could live on that. It's fantastic without the sugar. It's your own form of Clayton's. Well, some of you viewers won't know what Clayton's is, but you would. Clayton's bacon, your own bacon. And I'm also following your lead, Dave, with ground beef. I'm starting to look at that and realising that that's a great alternative. Ribeyes are nice and pork chops are great, but I'm following you a little. I think your idea is rubbing off on me, and I don't think there's anything wrong with ground beef. It shrinks, but it's okay. So, and really, food is not much of a priority now, which is interesting. It's not much. I was out at a men's dinner last night, and I had to order a hamburger. But I asked the lass, I said, could I not have the bun, please? And so she gave me some lettuce and a tomato. Now, I normally wouldn't eat that, but you know what? You step off the wagon a little bit. But this is the point I was going to make. In all the time I've been on this program, I've only stepped off twice. I've never fallen off. I've stepped off. And I made a conscious effort to do it the day before I did it. In other words, I wasn't tempted and I just fell to temptation, because there's a reason why I don't do that, and that'll come into my reason for finding carnivore in a minute. And what I did was, on my birthday, I had the most humongous piece of birthday cake with the biggest amount of cream on the top. You needed to buy a pair of skis to get over it. And I said to my brain, from my stomach brain, because we've all got brains in our stomach, heart and whatever, I said, now tomorrow I'm going to have a big piece of cake. My glucose monitor, which is there, is not going to react. I'm going to get through it. It'll be over. I won't look like I'm at the party with a face like a smack bottom, because who wants to sit around some sad sack at his own party that's not enjoying himself? And you know what? I didn't react one bit, and I thought, great. And so therefore, I thought, I'll push the envelope. And on Christmas Day, I had the biggest piece of pecan pie ever known to man, because my son baked it. Again, the day before, I said, stomach, speak to the brain. No reaction going to occur. And it didn't, Dave. I checked my glucose 2 hours later, nothing extra. Because see, what happens with my monitor, I've noticed with that dawn phenomenon, and you're familiar with that? Are you?
If you could explain that a little bit.
I hope okay, this is good. I found out on YouTube that there's a thing called the dawn phenomenon. It's when you technically wake up and the liver and the pancreas realise you need some fuel. And so you've got to start the motor. And so therefore your glucose, in my opinion, your glucose level rises. Now mine happens between 9:30 and 11 o'clock every day. So my dawn phenomena is out of whack. So it's going to be interesting when I go to Thailand next week. I'm going for 30 days and they're 4 hours behind us. And I'm wondering whether my dawn phenomenon will be spot on, because that's probably where I should be. And so therefore, during the day, my glucose level goes up and it comes down, but it doesn't go beyond 7, which is good for me. And my lowest is around about 3.95, my fasting glucose. Now, the thing I was saying about the last blood test, when I went to the doctor, I was following the advice of Dr. Lustig, Dr. Bickman and others, and said, whatever you do, make sure you get a fasting insulin test. Because what I've discovered from that is it's a biomarker that can reveal type 2 diabetes 20 years ahead of time. Now, that doesn't matter for me because I've already beyond that 20 years. But I wanted to make sure that what I've been doing over the last 120 days has had a positive effect. And so the results were the usual. Cholesterol up. So what did she do? Didn't ask me. She knew I'd been following a health program, but didn't ask what it was. Oh, I better prescribe a statin for you. Oh, I said, doctor, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you're doing that. Why tell her the difference? I hope she's not watching. I never got that thing filled. I just used that for toilet paper. It's easy and it's quite nice. It's not too slippery, the prescription pad. So I said to her, what's my insulin? Oh, it's a 6. I said, 6? Superman's usually 2 or 4. Under 12 is good. Under 20 is acceptable. But 6? That's fantastic. And so that's what I was really interested in, because I now believe that your fasting insulin is so important for, hyperinsulinemia and all that goes with. Your viewers will do their own research. So that's where I'm at right now. The rest of the results, par for the course. Everything was perfect. And I don't have my statin, so I'm very happy.
Do you mind talking about like what were your cholesterol numbers like that she felt you needed to be on a statin?
Oh, the increased LDL. If you look at that program I mentioned about that chap to watch his show, he talks about LDL and very succinct the way he describes it. Really, truly, it's amazing. So that was mainly what it was. Oh, your total cholesterol's gone up, so we better put you on a statin. You want to have a shot of whiskey? You're allowed to break your thing for medicinal purposes, Dave. You sure there's not sake in that?
Yeah, I think I need something a bit stronger than water today, definitely.
Well, I wish you'd. Yeah, look, I won't tell anyone. Your secret's good with me, Dave. Yeah, so I don't know. I've got lots of notes, but do you want me to tell you why I started with carnivore? Why am I on it? And
sure, I'd love to know.
What influences me never to fall off the wagon ever? Okay. It started with a unfortunate it started with an emotional thing, and in 2 days' time it will be the anniversary of the unfortunate death of my eldest son that I found deceased. And it's a difficult road because you have grief measured with lots of different emotions. But when I found this poor boy, I found he had a sugar addiction. Unfortunately, I won't say too much, but his apartment was filled with icy poles and those fruit ice treats and things, so many that you wouldn't believe. And I believe that sugar addiction led to his metabolic downfall and eventual heart problems. And the biggest regret in my life, Dave, is I didn't discover carnivore 2 years ago, because I would have saved him. I was his hero. If I asked him to jump, his three words would be, "How high, Dad?" Now, I got him onto intermittent fasting. He was a wonderful bodybuilder. He'd been through all that all through his life, had ups and downs. Some people suffer with a little bit of bipolar and depression and whatever. And when I heard that the carnivore diet was good for Alzheimer's, bipolar, autism, all sorts of stuff, that's when I decided to do it. And I remember a dream I had, and a very lucid dream, because I actually live another life in my dreams, which is great because I use them to do all sorts of jobs and learn things. And I did dream about him. And in that dream, it was Jerry Seinfeld, the show that came to mind, with George. And they were in the cafe. And I don't know if your viewers are familiar with Jerry Seinfeld's show, but there was an episode with George, and George was whinging and complaining that nothing else in his life had gone very much to plan. And Jerry turned to him and said,
"If every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right."
And that's when I woke up that day at 3 a.m. in the morning, put on the TV to watch YouTube, and the universe algorithm sent me all these presenters talking about carnivore. It was, in other words, it was meant to be. And so therefore, any time I feel tempted to have sweets or desserts or alcohol, I think of my dear departed son, and I think to myself, I can't do it, in memory of him. And I tell you what, Dave, it is a very, very strong influence. Trust me. That's my why. We all need a why. And that's it. Nothing else. Incidental is my health span. That's, if I can help people along the way, I will. But in his memory, I will never fall off the wagon. Man, that's the greatest gift you could ever be given. That's the why, Dave. That's the reason. I didn't want to say it at the beginning because some people might turn off the program and you won't get the result of how long did they watch your interview for and all the statistics, but that's why I do it. And now it's easy. As I said, I don't try and convert the world, but gee, I would love someone to contact me on my email and say, listen, I just need your support. I'm always encouraging. Always. I'm not afraid to call a spade a spade. I don't know if your American friends would know what that was, but anyway, they can look that up as well.
I've heard some people say that expression, so probably, yeah.
Yeah. On my bucket list is to meet Dr. Lustig. The other bucket list is to come over to Osaka, which I've always wanted to do, and take you out for a nice meal. Seriously, Dave.
That'd be awesome.
Be careful what you wish for, because I do make dreams come true. And it's on my list. I won't say when, and just all of a sudden there'll be a knock on the door. No, seriously, I will, because I think you are doing such a wonderful job of what you do, and your destiny is definitely revealed now. There's no question. I don't know how you do it, but boy, one interview before me and another one after. You're just, you're one of those incredible people, and I applaud you. Now, that's enough bouquets for you.
So yeah, thank you. And yeah, first, I mean, let me say I'm very sorry about, very, very sorry to hear about your son. On Robert Lustig, I understand how you feel about him, because when I first started doing this, when I first tried to get onto keto and then this turned into carnivore, he was the voice of authority that I kept listening to, on whenever he's got lots of lectures, and most of them are pretty much the same, but he's got lots of lectures on YouTube, right? And I would listen to those as I was out walking, and it was just this constant reinforcement, like, you are doing the right thing. You know, getting sugar out of your diet is doing the right thing. There's just no two ways about it. So it was really, he was really helpful to me as well.
Yes, Dave. It's his positive reinforcement keeps me going, and as I say, same as you, I watch them constantly so lest we forget the importance of getting rid of the sugar. Now, when he said that the glucose is not too bad, but it's the fructose, I didn't realise at the time that the fructose kills you over 40 years and cyanide over 4 minutes. You know, it's simple. And the carnivore diet, to anyone I doubt that there's many people watching that don't do it, unless they just for some reason stumbled across this interview. I don't know. So we're probably talking to the converted. However, if there's someone out there that has not been converted yet, all I can say to you is try it for 7 days. It's so easy. It's like falling off a log. And why calorie count? I ate like there was no tomorrow when I first started until I became satiated. And now food takes it's in the background. As long as you keep hydrated and keep up your electrolytes. I mean, it's simple stuff. There should be a law against it, quite frankly, because it's too easy. One day they'll pass a law against it. I don't know. It just seems too good to be true. And they say if things are good. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, but they say if things are too good to be true, they usually are. Well, in this case, when they say there's no such thing as a free lunch, well, there is. It's carnivore. And take it from me. I mean, preaching to the converted, I'll never go off. I might, after 6 months to 12 months, maybe introduce something else into the diet just to be sociable with the family. But the other reason I stay on it, Dave, not just because of my dear departed son, but of my 2 living sons, that I don't want to make the mistake of not giving them the opportunity to follow this lifestyle of health span. And they are looking at it because, as I said, the regret was not knowing it 2 years ago. So I don't want to make that mistake, because my duty as a father is to do that, even if it's unpopular. I don't care. And if anyone else wants to ride on my coattails, by all means, I'm here to please.
You're pretty much on this path forever now. You're reverse aging. You are probably patient number 2 from Thailand in 2019. So, like, if someone's watching this and they think, yeah, well, as you said before, it seems too good to be true. I can't believe this. How can you just change what you're eating and that's going to change everything for you. What would you say to them?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about how to answer that, Dave. I would just tell them, listen, be grateful that you have the opportunity to try this. Just be grateful. Thank your lucky stars that someone is able to tell you something about this, because not everybody gets this opportunity. They don't. I'm glad I got it, and I think I got it through a unfortunate situation, but that doesn't matter. I've got it. And all I would say to them is, I'm not trying to convert you. I don't give a rat's razoo whether you do it or not, quite frankly. But if you do, I will support you to the end. And I tried it for 7 days. That's not hard. Then after 7 days, you might like it. And then if you really feel like going back to all your aches and pains and all the problems that you had, and it's really on top of your to-do list, go for it. But this is the thing, Dave. I think when you go carnivore, certain things happen. You lose some friends, so you've got to make new ones. I don't want to be around people that don't give me positive vibes about it. If I have to leave them aside, I will do it, because this is too important. And so therefore, seek new friends. Be compassionate. Allow the universe to guide you, because it does. It's amazing. And that's the esoteric that's coming out now, that I'm doing investigations into it, and that's another story. But that's because of brain clarity. I can understand it more and appreciate it. But as you said, for someone that wants to know why you do it, brain clarity. Because once your brain is cleared, the rest is easy. You know what to do. And if you've got aches and pains, don't even think about them. Because what happens is, as you know, they disappear and you don't even know that's happened. I mean, I had severe knee problems. I had to go to sleep of a night with a pillow between my kneecaps and get in the right position. And when it moved, I almost cried with the pain. Well, I didn't realise that went after the first couple of weeks. I wondered, hang on, it's gone. That my eye floaters, I used to swat them like mosquitoes. Didn't realise that they'd gone. And, the biggest problem was the feet with neuropathy. I'd come try and climb a ladder and come down, and I'd have to say to people, are my feet on the ground yet? Because I couldn't feel them. Well, if you want to go back to all that, be my guest. And if someone doesn't try it after that, well, you know what? They're not worth wasting your time over. Now, that sounds not very nice, but it's realistic. Spend time with people that matter, people that want to do it. Don't waste your time with those people that don't, because your time is valuable. And that's what I'm looking at now. If I get an inkling that someone is not even on the same wavelength and they don't want to be here. I mean, I used to give lectures on sales to companies, and I used to open up my presentation with the same spiel every time. It was, gentlemen and ladies present, if you don't feel like being here to listen to me, please go out in the sunshine. Don't stay here. You want to speak to people that are on your same wavelength. So don't try and convert the world. Just that's my opinion. I don't know how you feel about it, Dave. You probably tried to tell some people and they just didn't want to know. Well, you know what? Bad luck. Sounds crass, but it's fact of life.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, that is a good answer. And it's also, it's important to, you mentioned, some people are not going to be as friendly with you as they were before, and that happens. And yeah, I mean, I've experienced that. I've had people say, oh, well, you're not fun anymore, and it's like, well, hang on. Because I'm not drinking with you at the same time, or because we're not eating cake together, that means I'm not fun anymore. So what was our relationship actually about, So yeah, you have to, some of those relationships, you just have to say goodbye to them, right?
Yes, Dave, you're on the same wavelength, mate. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It's like ships that pass in the night. As long as you keep those relationships that are dear to you, like your family, they will understand if you are intent on being a role model. Walk the walk and talk the talk. Because when I first started, I'm sure my wife thought, "Oh yeah, here we go again. What's this guy up to?" Oh yeah, you know. Now, secretly, I know she talks behind my back and says that she's proud of it because he does stick to what he said he's going to do. And even some of the doubters are now wanting to know, but I won't tell them now. It's too late. In other words, you had your chance and you blew it. So now you can just watch. And if you get little snippets of information, go for it. I'm a little bit that way, but lead by example. That's what it is. And I wore my special shirt for you today, Dave. This is my success shirt. It's saying
Oh,
that,
thank you.
oh, look, just for you, mate. I had another one on, but it didn't do it for me. So I thought, no, this success shirt for Dave, it means you're on top of it. There's no going back. Tomorrow's a great day. Be grateful for what you got. And it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And I've never even got halfway through my notes because you know what? They were just thought bubbles.
No
And,
worries. Well, Allan, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. I really appreciate your time.
well, I appreciate your time. I hope I didn't rant too much, but you know where I'm coming from. And it's a positive mental attitude. The brain, the mind is so powerful. If you need something to help you get through this carnivore thing, your brain is what does it for you. And it's a catch-22. You go on carnivore, you get a clear brain. You got a clear brain, you stay on carnivore. It's a lovely circle. It's self-feeding itself. So that's what, and if anybody has the opportunity to send me an email, I'll always respond.